The aging of the marriage. I have a weird feeling something isn't right, but maybe it is nothing. Wife and I have been married close to 20 years. We have 3 kids and we both have successful careers. Our marriage is good, no real problems other than the regular issues in life we all face. Sometimes I do forget to take out the trash. Physical life has 0 issues and very regular. I would say we have it pretty good. However, over the past couple months something has been bugging me. The owner of the business she works at, she talks about him a lot. She will come home and say, he said this or did that. She talks him up all the time. Recently she got a raise out of nowhere. Turns out she was the only one. I have looked at her phone. They do text, but it is only work-related stuff. All harmless. They are not friends on Facebook. There is nothing out of the ordinary in her activities. Last night, she brought him up again. And I made a snarky reply like, oh, your boyfriend did that. She laughed. Later that night, I am in the yard doing some work. I must have struck a nerve because she brought up what I said. I let her know that her talking about him all the time is bugging me. Then she said, oh, don't worry, he is married with kids. That wasn't really what I was wanting to hear. Then she said she will stop talking about him if it's bugging me. Then later we sat in bed for a while and chatted about stuff. We did sleep together, which I did find interesting. Because normally she has an issue if we do it on consecutive days. We had done it the night before. So, I don't know. Maybe it is nothing. Maybe she likes the guy or something. At this point I know there is nothing physical. Like comment, I have always been burned when I didn't follow my intuition. From what you said, at this point a trust but verify stance would be your best path. Monitor conversations, how she uses her phone, strange behavior, overtime, etc. I agree with checking out her phone, texting, emails, etc. If you normally have access to it, it should be easy. You may want to have a laptop nearby with a recovery program. OP responds, talking about coworkers is fine. We both do it, and for years. But this one struck me as strange. She complains about stuff here and there and so do I, but she has been just talking him up and how all the great things he does. I get it, when my boss something great too I will bring it up. But gosh, it just seems just a little bit much. I don't know much about the OM. Looks like he has been married for years, has a couple kids. He is a little younger than my W and taller than I am. For sure makes more than I do. I am trying to get my head around this. I think most likely it is nothing. Worst case at the moment she may like the guy. He has been the boss a couple months now. She did ask for a raise because it has been 2 years since she got one. What I do know is that he is only in the office a couple times a week for maybe 2 hours or so. A possible new red flag, she has been telling me she hates working. We did the math and if I could earn about 20% more, my income would be enough alone so she could stop working. I brought up I have an interview next week that would hit that mark if I got it. Suddenly she isn't so interested in quitting. She gave some good reasons, about saving more cash, things like that. I found it a little odd. Maybe because the times we are in. Not sure. One other thing. Something weird happened about 5 years ago. There was a stretch of about 3 months or so, where she was just incredibly horny. Like something I have not seen since we first started dating. I did think something was up but could not find a thing. I thought maybe some kind of affair. She isn't doing that now, everything seems normal. I was just overreacting. Phone records line up perfectly, Google Maps timeline looked good. Sleeping together on consecutive days was strange but not terribly uncommon. Our physical life is actually pretty good. I think it was just me weirding out because her boss is a guy. Thinking back, she used to talk about her old boss all the time and it didn't bug me because she was a woman. I have an interesting update. I looked at the Google history, didn't even know that existed, very interesting. I did find 2 things. I noticed she had Googled a random number that called my cell. Second item was that she did a Google search for the OM twice. Also, while she isn't Facebook friends with the OM, I noticed she did look at his Facebook profile 3 different times last month. Another 4 times in the months before. Comment, I think you are doing the right thing by at least having your antennae up. Breaking this down a bit. 1. This boss is new, like 2 months, and she talks him up a lot. So, she is happy about this new boss. 2. She is curious about him. Already knows he is married with 3 kids. Googled him, looked at his Facebook several times. 3. She has talked about other bosses before. 4. Your gut has brought you seeking help. My take is that she is impressed by this guy and he has piqued her interest. But she hasn't pursued him or done anything wrong. Yet, I think you should put her on notice now, before her curiosity and high impression blooms into something more. OP responds, at the moment 1 through 5 are not happening at all. Number 6, I noticed a slight uptick last week, but nothing really uncommon for us. We are now back to our normal schedule, like every other day or skip 2 days. So, what do I do now? I went silent on it. But last week I told her I didn't want to hear about him anymore. Just watch. If she gets weird, take a stand. I just messed up really bad. Not sure what to think. I had her phone and I was looking at their texts, all of them normal work stuff from the morning. But according to the log, she sent 1 text later in the afternoon and it was deleted. I was shaken up by this. I handed her phone back and laid it all out. Asked her if she likes the guy and what's going on. She got pissed off that I was looking through her stuff. She never did answer the question about the deleted text. Then something weird happened. She went from suddenly extremely pissed off and gave me a big hug and said this all means I still love her. We sat and talked about stuff after that. Not sure what to think now. She did ask what it will take for me to be less paranoid. What do I do? Update. I got to the bottom of everything. Case is settled. In the end I was overreacting as I had thought I might have been. Good news, even though I looked paranoid. She thinks this event actually had some positive impact. I know what was in the text. It turned out to be nothing. The good news is that the OM is only in the office once or twice a week and spends up to 4 hours in the office a week. Their texts are only during work hours and all work related. She doesn't guard her phone, no password on it. All waking hours outside of work we are together. No weird activity at all. If something was going on, hopefully this put a stop to it. Worst case, this was the start of something and I took action. It has been a couple of days and all texting has stopped. Her phone still has no password and she is not guarding it at all. Like I said before, we pretty much spend all waking hours together outside of work. Nothing weird to report. I have upped my game a bit and am sowing our marriage. She has noticed and the response has been positive. I do understand where there is smoke there is fire. So all I can do now is keep up the sowing and pay attention. I feel like the biggest jerk on the planet. Either I am dealing with some crazy metagame or I am barking up the wrong tree. So, I was getting ready to get those texts, and I'm looking at her Instagram and like an hour ago she sent a message about getting our wedding rings redone. I just could not go through with it. I am really thinking, if she deleted those, she wanted to get caught for some reason. Either that this is some huge setup. If she is gaming me, damn this is good. About him going into the office, she did tell me that some time ago. It's one of the reasons they sometimes text during the day about work stuff, because he is almost never there. Anyways, she works very close to home and takes a minute to get home. When we are home we are always together. She does not talk much on the phone, sometimes FaceTimes with family. She does not work full-time, typically she is home by lunchtime. I work from home. Sometime last year my wife installed an app on ours and the kids' phones that tracks our locations. So, we know where everyone is at all times. I know when she leaves work, gets home etc. It pinpoints her phone's exact location. Plus, a record of all travel. I've looked, she is where she says she is. So, this is a little strange. On a hunch I compared my texts to the logs. Looks like I am deleting texts too. I am not sure how reliable these texts are. She does typically jump into the shower after work and gets into more comfy clothes. But that is every day. She even does that if we had an afternoon out and about on the weekends. I am keeping my mouth shut at the moment. I did find a possible new red flag, but I need more data. Couple weeks ago, she was complaining about getting headaches at work. She thought it might have to do with having to wear a mask at the office and wearing glasses. So, she started wearing contacts to see if it would go away. It worked. She needs to order more, so she has not been wearing them every day. Would be interesting if she wears them only on the days he is there. A little update. They have not texted in a couple days, no weird apps on her phone and she still leave it out with no password. No burner phone that I know of. I know the OM was in the office yesterday and she did not wear contacts. So, on that front it is looking good. Physical life is normal. Everything appears to be normal. However, I did notice she cleared out her FB search history last night. 3 possible reasons came to mind. She cleared it out because she didn't want me to see her past search history. She searched for something last night she didn't want me to see and cleared it all. Or she did it on purpose to see if I would notice and say something about it. So, what happened? She noticed that I was paying a lot more attention to her phone after the first conversation we had when I was doing yard work. She purposely sent him a text and deleted it to get a reaction out of me. I noticed it and we had our moment. This appears to be the same kind of thing. So, it appears an IA can start and they don't even know it till they are really into it. I get the whole mouth shut eyes open thing now. Good news, it appears I can combat this a bit. Looks like IA can start when something is missing in the relationship. They don't go looking for it. It just kind of happens. So, if there is something, I need to find it and provide it. So far everything appears to be normal. No texts in a week. At least none that I am aware of. Relationship is fine. No issues I can see. Nothing fishy has been happening. Let's see what happens. The strange thing is for some reason for the past week she doesn't seem to be interested in work. I know something happened last week. She has said twice in the last week if she could quit, she would. I have noticed she has been looking at the job sites. My gut is telling me, whatever it was, it's over. The reset is going very good, life is normal. She did mention him this weekend. Something about the boss being very stressed at work, used to be very talkative, and that all stopped. Again, this morning she had no interest to going to work. I know I should be doing a reset, but I just had to peak today. So after about 3 weeks of no texting, they texted a bit today. The convoy was again all work related, no big deal. But I compared it to the text log, and it looks like she deleted 3 texts she sent. All his texts were there, and the convo made sense. So, she either sent him something she didn't want me to see, there is some weird problem with the text logs, or she deleted them on purpose to catch me. By the way, everything seems normal, nothing weird that I can see. I dug deeper, found a text from today that the OM brought in chocolate from her friend, couple of deleted texts. Also, she has been having breakfast most mornings. This is after we have it together in the morning. The days match when he is in the office. It appears she gets to work, then about 30 minutes later goes. She could be going with anyone, but 2 breakfasts are weird. We did have a weird convo this morning and I think she almost mistakenly outed her out. We were at Starbucks getting some drinks and she needed to reload her account. I said, "Didn't you just reload it?" She said, "Yeah, but we went," and then mid-sentence stopped. I found something interesting. So, the call logs don't capture missed calls. I noticed on her phone after the 3 suspected deleted texts. He called her 2 minutes later, she didn't pick up. 10 minutes later, according to the Google stuff, she went into visual voicemail. I checked it, and there was no voicemail at that time. So, she must have deleted it. She also checked it later that night around 10 p.m. Looks like something is going on. One other thing, in the string of texts between them that morning, she asked him when he is coming in. Another strange little thing. My wife likes to doodle a lot, typically stuff that is on her mind. I found in her purse a doodle that said, "Need an accomplice," on a note card, and she scribbled it out. I'm going to hold off on the PA at the moment. I think I have enough to catch her. I guess catching them at Starbucks. The weird thing is, I'd always figure if anyone was to cheat it was me. Over the years I've seen some crazy stuff. Mind-blowing stuff. I've literally been in a position to cheat many times and have always denied it. Either traveling or being in an odd situation. I've always, after all of those, told my wife exactly what happened and what could have happened. Couple mins of fun is not something to destroy a marriage. That is my outlook. If she is in fact cheating, she doesn't share that. I am not sure what would come of this. Here is a brain dump summary of things I found. She was talking about her boss a lot. It bugged me and I brought it up. They are just friends. He is married with kids. There was about a 2-week period where I was noticing little things that got my gut going. Talking about the guy a lot, caring about working out more, buying new clothes, used teeth whitening, used spray tanning, and started wearing contacts. She was looking at his Facebook page. I was very suspicious. I started peeking at her phone. She noticed. Few days later she texted him and deleted it on purpose to see if I was snooping. We had a little D-Day when I confronted her. After that the texts dropped down and all the stuff dropped. At one point she deleted her Facebook history. I am laying low. About 3 weeks go by and not a single text between them. Then suddenly a string of texts. The log does not match up. Looks like texts were deleted, but the convo makes sense. None of his texts were deleted. About 2 minutes after the string of suspected deleted texts, he calls her. It goes to voicemail. She checks 10 minutes later. I checked for it, appears it is deleted. She checks voicemail later that night. Later during that day her coworker sends her a pic of chocolate on her desk. Again, some deleted texts. The convo does not line up, but the chocolate were from the OM. She left those texts for some reason. Looks like she is going to Starbucks on some mornings. Mix of snacks and drinks. No clue if she is just going alone, with a coworker, or with him. She is paying. Also, I know they are talking about more personal stuff. One day I was saying, I want to do XYZ. She said, well, his wife did XYZ and he hated it. Again, they are not texting late at night or weekends. No weird apps on the phone. Texts are all confined to working hours when he is not in the office. But the last string of texts, she did ask if he was coming into work. That is all I can remember at the moment. The other thing, she doesn't feel distant, not picking fights or anything. Physical life is normal. Really everything feels really normal. About the coffee, yes, I can probably figure that out. I need to stop by her office one morning to drop something off around the time she goes for coffee. And yes, I did bring up all of those things to her. And she explained them away. The weird thing is it all stopped though. Looking at the texts, he does not appear to be reciprocating. None of his texts were deleted. By the way, she did get a drink this morning and was alone. I feel like I am in some weird gray area. I think I sent warning shots when I confronted last month. And now appears it is back, like some of you said might happen if I shut up. Now I guess I wait for a mistake to happen and keep watching. Fun times. I called my cell provider and asked about it. Turns out there is a bug in the call logging. What happens is, say you texted at 11:14. If the log shows 4 texts at 11:14, it can log one text multiple times. They all have to be the same time. If it was 11:14, 11:15, 11:16, 11:17, and missing texts, for sure deleted. So, I do have a plausible reason for this. The texts in question all had the same timestamp. I found more evidence today. It's either a weird coincidence, or I'm not dealing with any "this is a PA." Today I was looking for something and I found a Victoria's Secret gift card in her nightstand. It must have showed up yesterday, because I was in there on Monday and it wasn't there. Second thing I found was a pair of torn panties in the trash can in our bathroom. I could tell they were clean, torn in the back where it connects to the elastic. The gift card appears not to be new. You can tell it was in a wallet or something. I called the number on it, and it's never been used. The panties must have been thrown out in the last 2 days. We didn't do laundry last night, so they are not from yesterday. This is all very strange. Could easily be explained away though. I can't bring it up. I know I am going hyperactive, but I have been relaxing and shutting up. Interesting thing happened today. Probably nothing but just normal married life. But I wanted to comment on it because I found it interesting. Today my wife went to a coworker's house to work on a project for a couple hours. Before she went, everything was normal. But after she got home, she was acting very snippy and was just overall just being mean. We ended up getting into a huge fight. She is acting very distant and weird. This is not normal. 1. No, this is a different co-worker. 2. Yes, this was confirmed. She was there. 3. They were texting before, nothing during or after. We had a great weekend. Everything is still normal. Sorry if it feels like I am trolling. I guess I have some anxiety. Some good news to report. She had to text the OM today, something about work. She was completely transparent about all of it and she texted him right in front of me. I later checked the logs, and yup, the logs don't match. Shows multiple texts out when I clearly saw her do one. This makes me feel a lot better. So, we know we found a bug with the logging. But would you think this is weird? There was a little convo today. Text log shows 2 texts out, but again same timestamp, but only 1 text on the phone. Then 4 messages come in, 4 have matching timestamps and 1 does not. Text logs show 5 messages in. Seems too strange to keep on happening, and this is the first time one of his texts are gone. Also, when I got home today, she was working on an arts project. She said she was finishing up a project from her coworker, but I looked at it when she was away. It actually looks like something I asked her to make for me months ago. Looks like I have a neat gift in the works. I think the problem I am running into, if something is going on, I caught it right at the very start. It does appear to me that I may have beat this by catching it in the early stages, before it had actually went anywhere. If I only did XYZ when I first started noticing things. Well, I did the XYZ, and all the red flag went to a stop. However, the weird texting thing could be something or nothing. The logs are very unreliable, not just their texts but overall. Maybe I am one of those unfortunate but fortunate cases where I caught it so early, I was able to smash it early on. I am not going to rug sweep, I'm still keeping shut with eyes open. The one thing that really bugs me though is the note I found in her purse that says, "Have an accomplice," that she scribbled out. It is still there, and looking closer at it, she folded it into a fortune paper teller. That game we all played as kids to predict our future. I really want to take it and write on it. For what? Where she can find it. Also, on top of that, my wife was talking about the OM today. I guess they are moving things around the office and going forward my wife and him will share an office. I feel really uncomfortable about it. I cannot not stand it anymore. I am not sure. Part of me thinks she is trying to get caught. For example, that little paper fortune thing I can't figure out. If I was cheating, I would have burned that. And the deleted text on purpose. But I agree I am driving myself crazy. It is just all strange. It appears that most here think at worst case she liked him. Possibly one-sided. But looks like it all stopped. But I am dwelling on the why. I have been relaxing and have put this on the back burner a little bit. We had an awesome weekend together. Everything looks good. I did notice something interesting. She seems to be responding to my increased attention and dating her that was recommended. I have noticed that overall, she seems a lot happier about everything. And the bonding life has increased a bit. It was never bad before all of this, but I have noticed a difference that is for sure. I'm not in the mood at all. I guess we will see where this leads us. Fair or not, it was a huge wake-up call. I was able to find where I was dropping the ball and clean that up. At the moment it looks like it worked. Weird thing is during this experience I did lose a bunch of weight I have been wanting to lose. The stress pretty much stopped me from eating. I am looking much trimmer now and fit into clothes I have not worn in 10 years. She did notice that. So, I guess affair fake or not did have some positives. Still can't rug sweep this though. I am still eyeing open mouth shut. Except for the eating part, I should probably start doing that again. But right now, I am going to keep up being a good husband. Oh, another thing I learned, pissing on your tree. Damn, that works. The problem I am running into though, is that I have no proof of anything. Just a lot of evidence that points to she might like the guy. But everything seemed to have stopped after my little D-Day. I did find 2 more bits of evidence. During the 2-week period before I said something, this was when all the weird stuff started happening. She had looked up chemistry versus love. And she had looked up gift ideas, and what she was looking at was something I know the is into. Because well, she just talked about him so much and told me he liked that. So, I am here thinking, yes, I need to get to the bottom of it. But I need to be very careful, because it appears I snapped her out of whatever was happening. I do feel we are in some kind of healing period. Everything right now seems to be about us and our family. All her attention has been focused on that, for the last couple weeks. Things are looking up, but I understand I am not completely out of danger. We do have boundaries set. Nothing outside of work is going to happen for either of us. It would be caught quickly, and that goes for both of us. I think I need to keep tabs on this for a bit. I still think I caught this quick. Another weird thing I just remembered. A couple weeks before all of this, my wife did ask me a strange question after she found out someone she knows is a swinger, and was wondering what my thoughts were on an open marriage. I gave a huge list because I don't like it, and she agreed with me. Also, a couple days ago, she asked me, "How do you think the COVID thing has impacted our relationship?" Then she quickly corrected herself and said, "Oh, never mind, nothing has changed," and she changed the subject. I do think confronting her right now is not the best idea. I am going to sit and watch a bit and read that book. I could be on very thin ice if she truly in fact stopped. If it didn't stop and I still keeping finding things. Also, during my little D-Day, I did ask her straight up if she still loved me. She said she did and wanted to know what she could do to help me believe her. I did think about bringing it up, but I felt like maybe I am just being hyper attentive on everything and picking up every little thing as a sign. So, I let it be. Speaking of little things, I do have another. The other day my wife was on a call with a friend. I overheard a bit of the call. Was a friend with some BF issues. She did talk me up a bit, which I thought was neat. But she did say something weird, but logical at the same time. Pretty much she said she is stuck with me, but the good news is that I am awesome, so it is okay. I am thinking stuck probably has to do with kids and money. But weird that she would use that word. That is something I would never say. I would say something like, I love my wife and family. My radar is still up. I'm just laying low for a bit, to see if this goes anywhere. I have made up my mind on all scenarios if they come up. We had another confrontation. I laid it all out. It was pretty bad, but at the same time pretty calm. There was no gaslighting, projecting or anything. I did somewhat get a confession. The convo did seem genuine. In a nutshell, after my little D-Day, she felt guilty because they were talking too much, and she shut it all down, in person and the texts. This is clearly visible on the text logs, nothing for 3 weeks. There are texts now here and there, but at a much lower level. All check out too. Pretty much since the little D-Day, everything has been normal. I am seeing nothing to make me think something is going on. It has been 2 months now pretty much. So, it has been a bit over 2 weeks since the last fight. So far everything seems normal. I did check things out and everything looks good, but I found one weird thing. A couple days back she looked up a different coworker on FB, and at the same time was trying to find vital records on him on Google. I thought it was a bit odd. I do know of him. She has talked about him a handful of times over the last couple years they worked together. Other than that, no communication at all between them that I can tell. I just think that was odd. Probably nothing. Something interesting happened with the OM1 last week. Wife and I need some help on a project, and it turned out the OM1 wife, that's what she does, and he gave us her contact info. Now if I was into a girl and married, the last thing I would do is give out my wife's contact info for work. Hell no. So, I am now thinking nothing is there. If anything, it was one-sided like many have said. Something is just fishy. Hopefully I can get to the bottom of it. Weeks later. It's been a while. So far everything is great. No issues, no nothing. Just dating my wife as suggested. Last week I took her out to this new place. We had a great time. A couple days ago, she said, "Hey, let's go again," and we did. Bonding has been amazing, and the amount is way up. Was never bad before, but I think whatever I'm doing has been noticed. I think I won this one. My comment, she might have gone through a mild what if phase. Phases can be, but are rarely, once done. I sincerely hope things are going in the right direction. However, if some of your W's behavior is not properly addressed and she doesn't deal with it through counseling, then you are going to be dealing with this again. Worse yet, she may even feel emboldened through this enough to take things a few steps further down the road. Be vigilant, be alert, and don't get complacent in any way.